Hi, I'm Gina Roberts, and I'm the Voter Education Director for the Arizona Citizens Clean Elections Commission. The Clean Elections Commission is a state agency that was created by voters in 1998. And the commission really has three main functions. That includes public financing for statewide and legislative candidates, campaign finance enforcement, and voter education. And as part of our voter education series, today we are having our guest, which is Amy Chan. She is a commissioner, and we wanted to introduce our commissioners to the voters of Arizona to let them know a little bit more about who is enforcing the Clean Elections Act and who are making the decisions. And so today we'll chat with Commissioner Chan about her biography. She has such extensive experience in state government. She's a former state elections director. And so we just wanted to have a conversation with her to, again, let voters like you know who are making the decisions and who is enforcing the Clean Elections Act. Hi, Amy.
Hi, thank you.
So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited to chat with you today, and I was wondering if we could start off by just, again, letting the voters know a little bit about you and your experience and qualifications.
Sure. Well, I'm a lawyer by trade. I started working in state government in 2001 as a research analyst for the House Judiciary Committee over at our State House of Representatives, and that was where I was acquainted with election law and just fell in love with the topic, became a certified election officer. I was a troubleshooter for Maricopa County during several elections, primaries and generals, and that was fabulous and scary and wonderful all at once. There's nothing like helping voters on the ground during election day, and also the poll workers as well.
Absolutely, and I'll just chime in right here. If you're watching this and you want to consider to serve as a poll worker, our counties need you. You can be a troubleshooter, you can be a poll worker. So thank you for doing that service. Yeah. And so I'm sorry, I thought it was so important to share that note with voters.
I think that's great because we can always use more poll workers, and it's a great education in how our elections actually work. Absolutely. So I worked in and around state government since that time, most recently as the state election director for former Secretary of State Ken Bennett. And I was fortunate enough to be appointed to the Clean Elections Commission a few years ago by then Minority Leader in the Senate, Katie Hobbs, who's now our Secretary of State.
That's right, and I had the pleasure of working with you at the Secretary of State's office. So, I mean, it's been so great to learn from you about elections. I mean, again, with your history about state government and election knowledge, I mean, it's been fantastic, and now we get to work together here at the commission. And do you want to talk a little bit more about the core functions of the Clean Elections Act? And as a commissioner, you have to enforce those functions. But tell us a little bit more about your thoughts on public financing, campaign finance enforcement, voter education, and how that will serve a role in our upcoming 2020 elections.
Well, I think, it's very important. One of the key goals of clean elections is to maintain the integrity of public elections. And I think we can all agree that that's very important in order for voters to have faith in our government. But I think one of the key goals also that I learned to love when I was working in elections and at the Secretary of State's is voter education with registration, participating in elections, and particularly with some underrepresented segments of our population. There was a report that the Morrison Institute put out that we helped fund, Clean Elections helped fund, that showed that the folks who are participating the most in our elections and therefore electing our legislators and statewide officials are older, richer, whiter Arizonans. And so I think from my perspective, it's become apparent that it's very important to encourage those younger, more diverse groups that are not traditionally represented in state government to participate in our elections, because until they do, we're going to see elected officials that are not as representative of our whole population, both urban and rural Arizonans as well.
And every year the commission adopts a voter education plan, and I think what we've been seeing consistently from this commission is that voter education is a priority, and it's a priority to reach the entire state of Arizona. So maybe not just Phoenix, not just Maricopa County. I mean, just to really help educate voters that are in our four corners of the state, because hopefully we can reach those underrepresented populations and give them a little bit more support so they can participate. So going back to the Clean Elections Commission and the Act, we have public financing, we have voter education, campaign finance enforcement. Do you want to talk a little bit about those areas and just kind of how your experience lends to your ability to serve as a commissioner?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the most important things about working in elections and trying to implement and enforce election laws is to try to approach it in a nonpartisan way. So the commission is very well suited to that. It's an independent agency. The commissioners are appointed by both a Democrat or a Republican. That's how the statute was set up. There can be no more than 2 commissioners associated with any particular political party. Right now we have 2 Republicans, 2 Democratic commissioners, and 1 independent, I believe.
And also, equally important too, we cannot have more than 2 commissioners from the same county as well. And
Thank you.
That really helps for the entire commission to be representative of the entire state of Arizona.
Yes, it keeps us aware because I'm from Maricopa County, and sometimes, all you know is the world around you. So we do have commissioners from the smaller counties, more rural counties, as well as Maricopa County. So that definitely helps inform our voter education program, which you head up. It keeps us mindful that we need to do outreach for folks that aren't living in big cities, aren't getting the big ad campaigns that we have here, that we do need to do that outreach in more rural areas of our state. And it's perhaps even more important because there are fewer people out there to hear of these things and spread the word.
So you're about 2 years into your term now. You've got a few years left, and I think once your term wraps up and everything is said and done, what do you really hope that when you walk away and you're no longer a commissioner, what do you feel your contributions will be to the state and to voters? And maybe it is a little bit more about that, encouraging that participation, but if you want to share some insights to our voters and let them know what you're really working towards and your goals as being a commissioner are.
Truly, I think what I can be most passionate about is just maintaining integrity and really enhancing the integrity of our state government. Reducing the cronyism that special interest money can lead to. I think that's just terribly damaging to state government. And definitely that participation, I was very gratified to see the numbers of participation increase in the last election cycle for voters. I'd like to think that Clean Elections had a little something to do with that.
I think so too.
And who knows, there's a variety of factors, but I think if we continue on this path, I'll be able to leave in a few years when my term is up and feel very gratified and proud of the work that we've done as a commission.
That's wonderful. And all of our commission meetings are open to the public. We live stream those. We have them usually the 3rd Thursday of every month. And so you can see Commissioner Chan as well as our other commissioners at these meetings, and you can learn a little bit more about the decisions that they're making. And the report that Commissioner Chan referenced, that's available on our website, as well as tools and resources to help voters like you become engaged and participate in the political process. So thank you for tuning in with us today. Please feel free to check out our website. And Commissioner Chan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.